Caution Robbie here to remind you guys that there are always cards that we can be picking up, whether or not they be for the future of the game or because you actually discover that you have a fucking love for alpacas. Look at this. Look at how majestic they are. Oh my god. I fucking love them, little alpacas. So, always remember, besides the alpaca in your asshole, are going to have a short little discussion today as just some stuff in general that you should be picking up in the current game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Whether or not be for the future or for the betterment of the game. Don't be caught with your pants down, basically. It's today's segment. I'm not always entirely lazy, but when I am to get a water, it is absolutely amazing. So, keep that in mind. Alright. Now, there are a lot of things going on in the game. A lot of future archetypes coming out, and a lot of kind of cards that they're not necessarily expensive, but you probably should get them before they start to go in price. So the first one we're going to talk about is Gold Sarcophagus. Now, in October, November, we will be getting Soul Fusion. Say October, November, because that's when the fall set should release. But we have Thunder Dragons coming out. Thunder Dragons, they've proven themselves in the OCG to be one of the best decks. I mean, one of the, you'll hear me? One of the best decks? Yeah, that's right. The deck has anti-meta built into it. The deck has the ability to grind against your opponent. Now, you can pick up Thunder Dragons as well. I think the primary focus here is Gold Sark has so many printings, and the last time I checked a couple hours ago, Thunder Dragons were still sitting at the $3 mark for the Ultras. So if you were planning on playing Thunder Dragons for the anti-meta deck, you have the means to get ahead of the curve, essentially. Looking through OCG list and things like that, just the general cards that you should be looking at. We have Thunder Dragons, we have Gold Sarks currently in our game. That's about it, besides, the generic extra deck stuff, like the Nightmare Engine. But Nightmare Engine's for another time. I think you should have already had that, but that's just that. But Thunder Dragons going forward being projected one of the best meta decks of 2018, and probably going into 2019 until something happens to them on some sort of ban list in the future. So keep that in mind. You do have the means to get ahead of the curve, kind of prepare yourself before you have to pick up the new archetype support when it arrives later in the year. Now, the next one is Global. Now, Global has a lot of printings. I mean, a lot. But this is one of those cards that if you want a shinier version and you want to get ahead of the curve, treat yourself. Global is the centralized victim of the one-card Summon Sorceress. Now, we don't have an ETA on Needle Fiber. It's kind of the point of making this video. When you look at Needle Fiber as a card, one-card Needle Fiber is also, for those of you that don't know, also the cause of this. So you'll normal summon Global, make Link Karibo, and then you have Global Mill 1, bring itself back. You now have a tuner and a non-tuner, so you make Needle Fiber into O-Lion into the Summon Sorceress, you have the token with O-Lion, and then you can essentially climb the ladder from there. I think the combo is very, very dumb, don't get me wrong, and I think Needle Fiber is going to be one of those troublesome cards later on in the game. But getting ahead of the curve is what this video is about. You have the knowledge and understand that one card Needle Fiber, one card Summon Sorceress, one card any Link 4 essentially exists in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think making sure if you're planning on playing competitive or anything in the future, it would be to your absolute advantage to make sure that you have a bulb on hand, just because of this bullshit degeneracy that is coming. It's not fair. It's not it's fucking broken. But Global is, in fact, a one-card starter for literally tons and tons of these current meta decks. I think every deck in the meta in Japan right now is playing one-card Needle Fiber, because why the fuck wouldn't you? Why would you not play one of the best things you have going for you? Now, next up is Cold by the Grave. Now, this one's a little bit indifferent. Said 1,000 times over, I hate this card, but that's just my 2 cents. Called by the Grave is essentially quite possibly going to be a staple in future formats. Supers are running $3-4. The commons, I think, are officially touching $1 finally. Called by the Grave gives you the ability to target a monster in the graveyard, banish it, the effects are negated for essentially the turn, which is kind of, it's not bad, but hear me out. You use it to stop Drone Leopard, you use it to stop Ash Blossom, use it to stop these pain in the ass hand traps that don't essentially allow you to play the game. You can get even cuter when the card's multi-purpose as hell because it's a quick play. Also gives you the ability to banish something if your opponent monster reborns it, if your opponent's going to soul charge something, and also negates the effects of the monster you banish. So if your opponent's got a goblin in the graveyard and you're extra linked, you can banish the goblin to turn off the goblin for the turn. I don't know how many people kind of have missed the fact that Called by the Grave just does so much. Like, inherently, I think the card is busted. The card does a lot more than it should for it. But getting the ability to blink a hand trap, turn off a continuous effect, and even, pull away from those revival cards that many people clench onto to, win the game. Called by the Grave is just that. And going forward, I think this is something that you need to have on hand, whether or not the format is producing it to be a staple or not, because the card is just that fucking good. Whether or not, once again, side deck staple or not a side deck staple, it's so good. Like, it's actually nuts. Next up is Effect Veiler. Now, Effect Veiler kind of comes in and out of the format. And you can actually say this about any of the hand traps, but specifically Veiler. Veiler being able to be restricted to the main phase kind of sucks. It's probably why it's fallen to the wayside over time. But with the way that the format is kind of developing, if we get Needle Fiber, there will be a resurgence of Effect Veiler. Because letting your opponent climb that ladder, it's kind of rough. We don't have Max in the TCG, so we can't take advantage of the special summons. So there's that. So the only real way to kind of play the preventative measure game is to take advantage of Effect Veiler. Now, Effect Veiler's got a lot of printings. You don't have to go crazy for the ultimates. That's not the case here at all. But Effect Veiler is one of those cards that, for the most part, will be situational. It will rotate in and out of formats, and it will stop a lot of just the key bullshit that you're going to run into. And even so much now, more so in the past, a very well-timed Effect Veiler can ruin a game. And I would put Effect Veiler into the more of the techie side of the format. You play it, you take advantage of it. The card is very well rewarding to you in that aspect. So that's kind of something to kind of take note of. Effect Veiler, it's more techie than not, but it's something that you should probably have in case, much like Global, if we get some sort of release with it, just for the competitive side of the game. Don't be caught with your pants down. It's today's theme. And the last thing we're going to talk about for this video is the Kaiju package. Now, whether it be Gameciel, Dagaron, Godarla, Jizakuru, these are all primary examples of Kaiju you should have. Now, we do rotate with these. This is much like Effect Veiler. We're kind of in the downward spiral season. Get it, spirals. We're in that downward spiral right now to where these cards are out of format and they've gone down. Gameciel just got a reprint in another form, so you can take advantage of these lower prices. Once again, don't be caught with your pants down. If a side deck card rotates back into the format and you don't have it, well, you played yourself, because there's a little bit more knowledge available to you about cards that may not be seeing current levels of play. So I think it's one of the cool things about the game is we can stay educated on top of how the game is going, and just kind of see, oh, hey, this was good at one point, this is rotated out at this stage in the game, should we consider picking this up now? And the Kaijus in general, they've shown that they're going to continue to be wonderful support cards, just for breaking these untargetable monsters, taking care of this generalized bullshit that these boards produce. So my 2 cents, I'd make sure that we have as many kaijus as we need. You know, there's a lot of hypotheticals on this video. There's a couple of what ifs. There's some very good advice to you. And I mean, for the most part, all of these are very cheap, very well available to you as a player. So it's kind of something to consider. Just take advantage of the knowledge I'm trying to give you. Stay ahead of it. I'm pretty sure a lot of the competitive players are already going to have this stuff on hand, but if you're more of a casual intermediate player, then this might be some good knowledge to you. So stay safe out there, stay well aware, and don't let the meta play you this August. So stay ahead of the curve, baby. Look fresh, just like my llama over here. So little majestic. Ah! So adorable. Alright guys, peace on out. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.